Welcome to Ope, I Found a Weird Show. I'm Laura,
Beanz.
Lauren.
and we are continuing our recap of season 3 of the TV show From. Today we have the 7th episode in season 3, and Lauren will be doing the wonderful recap today. And I'm excited to hear what she's got because it was kind of a crazy episode.
Yeah, no pressure. I wouldn't call this wonderful. A lot happens in this episode, but again, somehow it was a shorter recap that I wrote up. So we'll see. But yes, season 3, episode 7, and this one is titled These Fragile Lives, which I think every life in this place is fragile at this point. Trying to think if there was something specific in this episode that I would say ties to this, because I know last episode we were talking about how the episode titles usually like make a ton of sense with what's happening. I'm like,
Tissue, and we see, we definitely, it makes sense. But
Yes.
yeah, I think this one flows with this. But this one could have been the title of a lot of episodes.
Yeah, it could have been any episode, especially the Colony House one if you really want to.
Oh yeah.
Or the bus. I don't know. But yeah, so These Fragile Lives. Are you ladies ready?
I'm ready.
Ready.
All right. So we pick off, oh my God. We pick up exactly where we left off last time. We're in the clinic. Fatima just learned the news that she does not have a baby inside her, or at least there's not one that they can see. So Fatima is confused, and Christy tells her a little bit about psychosomatic pregnancies, and Fatima is just like, isn't that what they used to call hysterical pregnancies, and is really upset about this line of thinking. But Christy tells her no one thinks she's crazy. This place just does things to people, and who knows what's going on. Fatima's still extremely upset. She wants to leave, and she just feels very unsupported. She thinks that everyone is basically turning against her. She knows that this is real, but no one else sees evidence of this. So yeah, she's just unsupported. So she goes to head back to Colony House, and Mary says that she's going to go stay the night there as well. And she'll be able to start an IV, but just keep an eye on things as well. So Boyd stays and talks to Christy for a bit, and she's mad at Boyd because he didn't warn her about the cravings before they did the exam. And he says it wasn't his place. And Christy kind of calls him on that. She doesn't accept that because that's extremely important information to know. And Boyd kind of just gets a little angry, upset, and he's like, how can you help? Like, what can we do to help her? But Christy has no idea, because what do? No one has experienced this before. Like, that's a lot to put on Christy. So she tells him, she's like, I have no freaking idea. And Boyd yells at her to do her fucking job and figure it out. That's not helpful, Boyd. That's not going to do anything.
Does it feel to you guys like Boyd is he's kind of losing it a little, right?
Yeah. When I was writing this, I was like, not even just Boyd, but like a lot of our main cast. It feels like everyone is just the temperature's rising. Everyone has got like a simmer going on. They're moving towards a boil. Like something is going on.
Yeah, Boyd wasn't wrong in the episode when he was like, there's a powder keg going on here. Yeah, no kidding. All of you. Even the ones who were like, we got to keep everybody calm. No, you're there too, buddy.
Yeah, everyone seems like they're at the end of their ropes, which has been a common saying in the show itself. But yeah, it just seems like we're building up to something and no one is keeping calm. I don't see anybody really playing that role of like peacekeeper. Like everyone's blowing up about very small things, it seems. But yeah, it's not very que sera sera of Boyd right now. And that's cue for que sera sera. So after the intro, Victor is in his room yelling at Jasper, the doll, that he needs to talk. And I had joked in the previous episode, like, what are you going to do, torture a doll? Yeah, that's exactly Victor's plan. He's going to yell at this doll, like, push it a little bit. But then there's a knock at the door, and Henry's there and asks to come in. And he is very concerned. He says that Victor's been up all night and morning yelling at this doll, to the point where he can be heard downstairs. So Victor is convinced that Jasper holds all the answers, but Henry, who is very new to this place, does not know that sometimes, yeah, dolls can talk. He just tells him it's just a doll. You cannot keep doing this. Victor says that he can't do this here, grabs Jasper, and heads out. So now we're with Elgin, and he's doing another craft project downstairs. And
And craft time. Can I just say, like, that it makes me so happy that there's craft time in Demonland. I could go there. I'd be content. I'd find a way.
yeah, and he's always doing something creative. I love to see it. They don't have TV. They've got to have hobbies, and he's a creative soul. He's got to have an outlet. I love this for him. So he shows what he's working on to Tilly, and it's like a mobile that he's made for Fatima. And he's made it like out of various trinkets. It looks like there's like a string of pearls, like a fork, just like various random shiny things. It looks pretty cool. And Tilly's impressed. She just like says like, oh, she'll love that. And then she walks away. I don't think Fatima's gonna love it at this moment. I would hold off for a little bit.
Yeah, maybe give her a tick. But he is a person who feels energies a lot. I feel like, right? So when he interacted with her on the stairs, he was like, "Oh, she's not doing good. I want
Yeah.
to do something to make her feel better."
Yeah. He's a good guy. I like Elgin a lot.
Relatable.
I feel bad for him.
Just doing stuff to make people feel better. Relatable.
Somehow always just like a little off timing
Yeah.
wise, like talking to Sarah, asking all these questions and being like, oh, okay. And then now with this.
Would fit in with our group great.
Yeah,
He
you
would.
would.
He's welcome to join us anytime.
Yes.
Yes. So after Tilly walks away, he like is putting the mobile down, and the Polaroid camera was on the table next to him, and it goes off without being touched. That's suspicious. He looks at the picture that comes out, and he gets like a confused look on his face. Wonder what that could be. Crazy
Yeah.
cameras.
Not trusting that Polaroid for nothing.
No, I feel like if I was in his position, anytime something weird happened, I would be like, well, that's going in a box far away from me.
Telling people. I'd be like, "Hey, Julie, my best buddy, come look at this thing. This is not okay."
I would be telling people, but I would not be like investigating that kind of thing. That would scare me too much.
Yeah.
But now we see Mary's with Fatima and telling her that she knows things are hard for her, but Mary has also felt violated by this place before and just needs to remind herself from time to time that like it isn't real. This place can't break them. And Fatima insists that this is different and the thing inside of her is making her this way. Ellis then comes in and Mary leaves, and Ellis tells Fatima that no one assumes that she's wrong. She questions him though and is like, why does no one believe me? And instead of saying, oh, we believe you, Ellis then says that, like, ever since that bus pulled up, she has been breaking down. And that basically confirms that he doesn't believe her and just thinks it's in her head. So she then pulls out, like, a shoelace that she has and shows him that she's been growing and, like, her body itself is changing. And if the baby isn't real, then that means that all of this is her. So she's having, like, a crisis of, like, am I going crazy? Is something happening? Like, she still believes that something is happening, but also, like, there is that thought in the back of her mind of, like, what if I am crazy?
And that would be such a tough place to be in, where you're basically you feel like your body is betraying you, or it's either your body is betraying you or your mind is.
And it's especially cruel to her because she didn't think she could have kids to begin with. So, like, it gave her this ray of hope, especially like hearing everybody get super excited about it, call it a miracle, and now have it turn into this. Like, that's just unnecessarily cruel.
Yeah. Just mean. Mean for mean's sakes.
Yeah, exactly.
Stupid Demonland.
Right. So now we go to Boyd, and he's on a walk with Donna. He's clearly told her about the pregnancy, and how either the thing in Fatima is like the worms, or this place has finally gotten to her. And Donna says that if it's worms under the skin, they'll cross that bridge. But if it's psychological, it could be like Abby. then they need to get ahead of this and figure out a way to help her. Donna also says that while they're figuring it out, it's not really a good idea for Fatima to stay at Colony House, and she has to protect all of the people. She can't just be focused on Fatima. And really, either possibility, if it's the worms or if it's a psychological issue, either one poses a threat to everybody there. And I think that's a valid argument. And yeah.
I think Donna's wrong. I think that it's going to like be very painful for Fatima and Ellis if they ever like when they hear this.
Right.
But I don't think that she's in the wrong here. And especially after, I mean, she was almost shot by Abby when
Yeah.
that happened. She remembers that. She was there for that. She also, not that long ago, had the big loss at Colony House. And she's not looking to repeat that.
No. It's one of the burdens of leadership is like you sometimes have to hurt people's feelings in order to protect everybody. And I think Boyd understands that because he doesn't fight her on this. Like he does look hurt because that's his family, but he doesn't fight her on it and just says like you and I were okay. I understand. Like I guess I'll try to make room at the sheriff's station or something. And like Donna's like it's trying to like placate it like no it's like not meant as a bad thing, and he's like no I get it, it's okay, we're okay.
He's still upset, but and like she can feel
Yeah.
that, but he's trying to express like, look, I'm mad, but we're okay, we are okay, but like I'm pissed.
Right. I think he's not even pissed at Donna, but just pissed at Demonland for doing this to them.
Absolutely, this is one more nail in the coffin, one more straw on that boy's camel's back, like
Right.
he is just another thing. And this one probably hits more home than a lot of the other ones. Like if an attack on him is one thing, but this is an attack on his family.
Right. Yeah. One thing after another. But now we get to go to another Dad of the Year, Jim, who's with 2 red shirts at, well, I've started calling the farmstead. I think they're calling it the settlement, but I think either one works. And they're bundling up food to take back when they see Tabby, Ethan, and Jade walk up. And Jim is so confused. He's like, what? What are you doing here? Like,
I hate to side with Jim on anything.
it's so hard to do.
Didn't they just have a conversation about how it would be a bad idea to take Ethan to a magic tree, and now they're going to take him to a fucking settlement with the effigies?
Yeah. No, I like, damn, didn't need to bring the kid, but whatever. Yeah, it is an interesting decision to bring him along. And yeah, so Jim is confused, and then Jade tells him that everything's okay. It was Jade's idea to come out here. And they just need to see the things that Tabby had seen in her dream. And the red shirts head out, and Jim stays to see what those 3 are up to. They're like, "Are you coming with us?" And he's like, I don't. No, I'm not.
Jim made the right choice there. You stay with your family. No.
Like, yeah. I also have to say it's kind of funny because he still has his backpack on that's like stuffed with food. So for the rest of the episode, when we see Jim, he's just got like lettuce sticking out from the like side of his head. I'm just like, okay, all right, lettuce head. But now we go to Julie, who's been left home alone. Poor Julie. She's heading up to the clinic with a bag, and she runs into Randall, who's leaving the clinic. And she says that she's going to spend the night there because her whole family is out at the settlement, and the house is creepy alone. Yeah, I would agree with that. She asks him what's up with him, and he's super cagey, typical Randall fashion, and she calls him out on it and is like, oh, so we got high together and now you're going to be weird? And he just kind of brushes her off and says he's going for a walk, so she asks if she can go with him, and he says no. So she just says, okay, I'm going to go put my bag inside, and is just disregarding his no, going with him.
I love the little sister energy.
Yes.
Yeah. I was reading something where somebody was like, she's flirting with him. I'm like, that's not flirting. You don't know what flirting is. If you think that's flirting, that is full on little sister energy. Like, I am an annoying little sister and you are not getting rid of me energy.
I can kind of see where they're coming at, because I feel like with a different character, it could come off as flirting, But no, I did not
Mm.
get actual flirting vibes from her. It was just like, I'm going to piss you off because we have this bond now of like being tortured together. I'm just going to stick
Yeah.
with you.
You know, and they do have another bond. It's not as strong as they were being mentally tortured together, but he opened that bus for them. He didn't have to. And I think that that's
Yeah.
kind of in the back of her mind too. Like, this man saved my life. She probably does look up to him a little bit like a big brother. Like, you saved me. You didn't
It's kind
have
of like
to.
when she did that with Victor too. Like, oh, you saved me. We're cool now.
Yeah.
Because Julie was scared of Victor for a long time, and then he saved her, and it really opened her up to that. So that's very true. Good
Yeah.
point, Beanz.
That's one way to get in with Julie. Just save her life.
And just save
There
her
you go.
life. No
Girl,
big deal.
stop needing to be saved, ma'am.
I was gonna say it's not that difficult to find a time when she needs saving because everyone in this freaking town needs saving constantly. But yeah. So now we go back to Elgin, and he is standing at the cellar doors that we've seen many times before. This is the place that Victor hid the night that everybody died years and years ago. And we see that the Polaroid that was taken inside the colony house shows those doors. So that's something mystical.
Sus.
Seems wrong.
Yeah, that's weird. Interesting. Okay. And Elgin goes in. He opens the doors. He's completely alone. I don't know why. I would be bringing a buddy, but he goes
Right?
in completely alone to investigate. Rules of Demonland, buddy system. Come on,
I feel
guys.
like, though, his buddy is Julie, and Julie's off having, annoying Randall, so he doesn't really. Maybe Tilly. He could have probably grabbed Tilly.
Yeah, but he probably doesn't want to get Tilly involved.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, it would be her, maybe Sarah, but Sarah's also got her own thing going on. So, yeah, he needs to make more friends is what he needs.
Yes.
Because I wouldn't be doing this alone or like wait until someone's available. But yes, so he goes in alone and he looks around, doesn't see anything in like that main room down there, but he goes over to the back door and opens it to see the cupboard that we've seen before. He opens it, nothing there. So he turns to leave, and as he's walking away, a knocking comes from behind him, either inside or maybe behind the cupboard. This would be when I leave. Hell no, not dealing with this, but Elgin is a lot braver than I am, and he goes back. He pushes that cupboard to the side and reveals a red door in the wall. And he opens that, again, could not be me, but he sees another room behind that and goes through.
Yeah, I enjoy an investigation. I enjoy a puzzle, but I'm gonna bring a buddy.
This is just like horror movie rules. You don't do that.
Mm.
Yeah, it was sad to watch that because I'm like, Elgin, no.
We really like Elgin.
Yeah, he's such a sweetheart.
Like, Elgin, I feel like you're going down the wrong path here, sir.
I'm worried about him is what it is. Like I don't want him to get into something dangerous,
Yeah.
which he is already doing. But
Yes.
it's just tough to watch. But now we see the officer, and I don't know what her first name is, but like her badge says Acosta, so that's what I'm just gonna call her. But we see her looking at a freshly dug grave, most likely Nikki, and then we see Kenny inside the diner looking at all of his mom's old things, fondly, just like looking at like the tea. And then Acosta comes in, and she comes in hot. I would say, like, she's asking questions about like why there are certain buildings here and like what kind of psycho built this place and like a few other things. And Kenny, poor Kenny, he asks if she wants to go over each of those questions separately or like if she just wants him to address them all. He's kind of tired of these crazy people coming in.
Tim, too, because he had to do this with Jade.
Yes.
He's had to do this with, like, people from the bus. Like, Kenny gets put on. Kenny is the welcoming committee, and he doesn't want to be.
He's the unwilling welcoming committee. Yes. And she's like still worked up, so he asks her if she wants tea. He's taken after his mama. Love that.
Oh, when he did that, I was like, oh, I know it's just Tian, but Kenny.
Yeah, Kenny. So now we see Jade is walking with Ethan around that settlement, and he's like a little stressed about Ethan being there, just a little bit. He's like warning him to watch his step, and Ethan's like, "Why?" And Shade's like, "Bear traps." Like, please don't step in a bear trap. And then we see Jim and Tabby. They're arguing again about her dream, and Jim thinking it's nothing. And Tabby says that her dreams are different because they started before they arrived, while his BS ideas and all of the other visions that others have had started after. So she has to investigate this and understand why. And what's the harm of checking it out, Jim?
Jim, she was chosen. Get over it. You weren't chosen. She was chosen. Get over it.
Yeah,
Hmm.
he's very gracious, and he just says, "Okay, like, cool. Thanks, Jim. Thanks for the permission."
That man every night if he was my husband. Are you kidding me? Mm-mm.
He would
Nope.
not be my husband. Either
No.
that or he'd be dead. It's just like, shut up. Oh, goodness. Uh, but I do have to say, like, we've talked about this. I don't know if we've said it on the podcast, but like the actor that plays him, kudos to him for making us dislike that character so much.
Yes, I think we should say, and we, if we haven't said it before, we never hate the actors. We hate the characters. The
Yes,
actors are doing a wonderful job. Like Randall annoys the piss out of me, but you have to be a good actor to do that, you know? So, yes, no,
agreed.
absolutely agree.
Yep. Okay, so Julie and Randall are on their walk. Everyone's taking walks today. I love it. But they're on their little walk, and she's telling him about her parents arguing and how Jim is worried because last time someone had a theory, it almost got people killed, and some idiot tied Donna to a tree.
Hmm.
Randall Randall doesn't react. He's very distracted, like looking out into the forest. So Julie asks him what he's looking for. And surprisingly, he says he's looking for a mushroom that grows in the cold for Christy. I was not expecting that, but apparently he's trying to be helpful. So Julie then asks why he was on the bus, and he says he was headed to Detroit to buy a car so he wouldn't have to ride the bus anymore. That was clearly a lie and joke, but he still doesn't say the real reason, and Julie tells him that she never got her license or really learned to drive because between Thomas's death and then never making it home from the road trip, they never got around to going to the DMV. Um, I'm blaming Jim for that as
Yep,
well. Always
absolutely.
Jim's fault. Uh, and Randall tells her to follow him, and I think we all know where this is headed. He's gonna maybe teach her to drive. We'll see. So back at the diner, Kenny is explaining the whole everyone tries and either adapts or goes crazy thing to Acosta. He tells her how he's done this multiple times, like had this conversation both sides, either like trying to understand it himself or like trying to explain it to everybody. So everyone who's there now has gone through this. And she asks him if he's adapted. He says that he didn't really have a choice. And so they get talking a little bit about his parents. She kind of asked bluntly about both his mom and dad and how he lost both of them, and says that she's sorry for his loss, but poor Kenny cannot escape this.
Really
And
can't.
no, like it's just a constant conversation point for him, and I would hate that. But he asks her like if she's got family back home, and she says no, not really. And then Kenny tells her that thankfully they've got the talismans now, but before that, people just had to hide. And there are not that many people left from before then. So she asks where the talismans came from, and Kenny tells her about how Boyd found them out in the woods. And of course, Acosta then says that that explains Boyd's god complex. Uh, Kenny defends him and says it's not really like that, and she just is not listening. She's complaining about her gun being taken, and Kenny is just like, uh, do you remember why?
Right.
She says she knows and she's gonna have to live with and carry that guilt around for the rest of her life. And he offers her then like a change of clothes from Colony House, and she just snaps at him and says she doesn't want any of that or his adapt or lose it philosophy, and she's not going to be getting comfortable here.
Yeah, she
Then
just
one of
kind
the
of goes full victim mode.
well, not even full victim mode, but also just like I'm better than you. I'm not
Yeah,
gonna have to adapt.
yeah.
Like
It was a weird sort of combination of woe is me. I'm a hero. I'm gonna get myself out. I'm not gonna be here long. It was a weird
I
combination.
yeah.
Seen that where like characters have been very I'm gonna figure this out
Who,
in
Mhm.
Jade?
the version of Jade, And we as much as he's an asshole, we love him. But like there's something about her that is so grating on my nerves.
Well, it is also weird because, like, I was kind of defending her, being like, "Yeah, she did shoot someone, but, like, that was her first night there. She's scared. She's just, like, going with what she thinks is right." Like, even handcuffing Tabby, like, we saw Boyd handcuff somebody, but, like, she doesn't know that there are monsters that are gonna eat Tabby if she leaves her in there, but so I was defending her, and now I'm just like, "Nah, she's a bitch."
Right? Right,
Like,
you were rude to Kenny.
now that we've seen her personality in the light of day, like, nah, she's a bitch.
Episode title.
Um,
Well,
eh,
well, like you said earlier, like she came in hot. I'm like, I think she really only has like hot as a mode. Like she coming in hot
yeah,
all the time.
yeah.
Even
We'll
I'm
see.
warmed up to Randall's ass.
I
She just
know.
is like, man, okay, lady, calm down. And that's the thing. I think that the my biggest issue with her is her lack of self awareness. You
Yeah,
shot somebody, and I understand that you're like, I have to live with that, but you are immediately like, give me my gun. Why would anybody in this place trust you with that when you killed somebody?
like if it
Mhm.
were me, I would be like, okay, yeah, I understand you not wanting me to have a firearm right now. Let me, like, how can I help in other ways that don't require weapons and try to like earn a place in this place?
Right.
Like,
And
how can I help?
that's the thing too is like I get it that you're a cop, and I get it you've really only been here a hot second. You've been here a couple days at this point, and you are still in this like I'm a cop. This is my thing. But like maybe take a look at the bigger picture that you are trapped in a place and there are lots of things and they probably don't need a cop right now. Like they need help in other ways and maybe try to find those ways to help.
Yeah. And don't try to impose yourself on people. Ask them what they need.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That is yes, because that is she is very like constantly trying to impose herself.
Yeah. Like even with Randall, like you said, he's kind of warming up. It annoys me to say that because I still don't like him. He still annoys me. But he has his moments and it's like I feel bad for him sometimes, which is annoying. But like even with him, he's had moments where he's been helpful in small ways, not trying to force himself into situations, but just like finds himself somewhere and is like, oh, here, let me open this door for you. Or, oh, I'm here with you. Like, I'll go get a toolbox.
Right, right, and it's yes, yeah, and that's the thing. It's not a pushy way. It's not a like here, but look at me and look at the thing I'm doing and and I feel like that's that lady.
Yeah, it's more like helping to be selfish than, yeah.
Feel like she like is very self-serving, as we've noticed here. But I also think a lot of this has to do with ego. She
Yeah,
seems
no,
like she has a lot to prove.
Yes,
I think you're absolutely right. And I think that I think part of it is she's trying to make up for that first night, but she's doing it in all the wrong ways.
Mhm.
absolutely. So they're still in the diner, and one of the jukebox on the tables starts playing Ooh, Child by Stair Steps. And Kenny says just the typical line of, "Oh, they do that sometimes." Um, and she responds with, "Is that something else you get comfortable with?" Super snarky. Don't love that. But then she leaves. Thank goodness. And Bacta walks in, and like as she's leaving, so she sees Acosta leaving and comments on, "Oh, well, she's taking it well." Um, and then says that she wants to talk to Kenny about reopening the diner. I I kind of had a feeling that that would be coming because I think either in the last episode or one before that, like she was with the kids in there, like cleaning things up.
Yeah,
And
she found Ethan in there and he was doing the dishes and she went to help him because she had stopped by to get a pot
yeah,
or something.
yeah. So like it's kind of nice seeing her step up, but also it feels kind of sad because everything of Tian Chen's now is being like re rehomed. Her
Yeah.
home, her business, like what's gonna be left for Kenny to remember his mom by?
Well, and that's the thing though, is like as sad as that is, it kind of has to happen, right?
I know.
Because the place has to go on. So,
Yeah.
but yes, it is sad, and I do think it would be tough for Kenny. but I think he is one of those people who would understand.
Oh, 100%.
It is sad, but I also think that Tian Chin would want them to keep using the diner and would want them to carry on the tradition that she started.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she definitely would. Oh, Tianchen.
We miss
All right.
you.
S- we will always miss her. Always. Um, but now we go, there are like 4 very short scenes, like back to back. So the first one is Elgin is in that dark space, like looking around, and he finds a really old dead body, like very decomposed, under a tarp. And he looks to the side and sees the kimono lady standing there and asks her, "Is this really where it happens?" "Where what happens, Elgin? What do
Yeah,
you mean?"
I was
Right.
gonna say, you hear, sweet baby boy, you hear him seeing nothing about things happening places. I'm like, you getting pictures and hearing voices. What's happening?
Yeah, I
Gonna
was
be
like,
kinda honest. I thought that I just missed something when we were watching. I'm like, "Did I, like, have a stroke? What did I miss?"
no.
And I was, like, kinda too scared to ask.
No, I was like, what the fuck are you talking about, buddy? Why haven't we seen? What do you mean?" But our
This is
next
this is not a good sign for Elgin.
no. Yeah, like what conversations? Because that's clearly a continuation of something a lot bigger. What do you mean?
Mm, yeah.
But the next thing is we see Victor showing up at Sarah's house and asking to go into the basement with Jasper, because he needs Jasper to tell him some secrets. And as we all know, basements are for secrets. Uh, and then we see Randall and Julie take the Colony House van, and get in it, and he starts telling her how to drive shift, and they drive off. And then our last little scene, Donna is inside washing her hands in the kitchen, and Henry comes in, like starting to look into cupboards, looking around, and she asks him if he needs something, and he says he could use a drink. And Donna, also going through it, says, "You know what? So could I." And so they head off. So now we see Boyd. He walks into the sheriff's station and he sees that it's not been fully ransacked, but it still looks like someone has been in there snooping. So he pulls his gun and asks who's there. Of course, we see Acosta coming out of the back room, and she is being her typical self, demanding her gun. Boyd tells
Man,
her,
if I was Boyd, I'd be livid.
yeah, uh,
That is
she,
that is your safe space, right? That is basically your home.
yeah,
And she
it's
came
both
in
his
and
work and home.
yeah, and she came in and just started going through stuff. He was nicer than I would have been.
Yeah. Yeah, he, like, puts his gun away immediately. I'm like, "She's still a threat in your space, but okay." So after she demands her gun, he tells her that she just killed someone because she panicked. And she says that, yeah, she panicked because things that shouldn't exist were chasing her at night. And he tells her that he's not going to let her near a loaded gun until she can prove that she can handle it. She bites back that she's a real cop. Um, which, okay, bitch.
A real boy.
mean shit. That doesn't mean
No,
shit in this town.
no, nothing means shit. No one has a job from the real world here. Come on.
Christy. But that's only
Well,
because we really need somebody who has medical experience.
yes, that is a very, very different case. But you're right. You are so right. But yeah, Boyd, and honestly, for Christy though, she wasn't even a doctor. She
No,
was a
third year
student.
medical student.
Yes. So she got promoted. But yeah, Boyd is not having any of this, and even asks her like, "When did you graduate the academy?" Because she looks green.
Hmm.
And she won't answer that. She's like, "None of your business." But she continues to take digs at him, basically saying like he's a bad leader who can't keep his people alive. And Boyd is over it and tells her to get the fuck out. She doesn't, and she like walks over to him, gets in his face, and demands her gun again. Boyd asks, "Oh, you want your gun?" And he goes over to the map on the wall, moves it out of the way, and reaches into a hole in the wall and pulls out her gun. It
Immediately was like, don't show her the hiding spot for things.
Yeah, I bet he's got plenty of those though. I wouldn't be keeping any of this in my home anymore. I'd be like, "Don't come looking at my home. It's out in the woods. Go find it."
Go find it.
Uh,
Put it
but yeah,
in a tree. Figure that out.
yeah, it's in a faraway tree. Good luck. But yeah, so he takes all of the bullets out of the gun and hands it to her. And he tells her that she can get the bullets back when he thinks she deserves it. And as she's walking out, he tells her that next time she comes in there without his permission, they're going to have a problem. I already have a problem with her. He should already have a problem with her. That is not a future problem. We have a problem.
I think he is just like, I got bigger fish to fry than your dumbass right now.
Yeah, I feel like this is not something that's just going to be a later problem. Like, this is going to be a problem much sooner.
Yeah, she doesn't seem like somebody who's going to simmer at any point.
No, she's going to find some bullets and cause some problems, but
Even Randall, once he put his ass in the bus, that's where she needs to live. Put her in the bus. Now that Randall moved out. But like, once he got in the bus, he chilled out. He was just minding his business a lot of the time, other than when he was plotting against Donna and stuff. But like, he wasn't aggressive to people constly.
no, it was more so reactive aggression.
Well,
Yeah,
Randall's
but no,
ungrounded.
Acosta,
Now it's her turn.
Right?
yeah,
Yeah.
is she staying at Colony House right now? Because like we don't actually see where she's staying.
No, maybe. Yeah, we haven't sussed that one out.
Yeah, well, Acosta still has major bitch energy on her way out, and she comes back with a "whatever you say, sheriff." And yeah, I hate her.
She's somebody who needs to get slapped.
Well, she just has this attitude and she should be so like repentant, I guess is the word. Like, she should just be like apologetic to everybody right now. She does not have the right to be angry at them.
Right. She shot somebody and they let her in that house. They didn't have to. She shot somebody. Everybody in that house saved her life in that moment. And she's just not, none of it's clicking with her.
Yeah. A lot of that woe is me that Beanz was talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so now we go to Henry and Donna. They're at the bar getting that drink. And she asks him if things are going okay with him and Victor. And he says no, he doesn't think they are. Henry says that he had a thought that morning that he really won't be able to forgive himself for. He says that he wished that he'd never come there and that Tabby never found him because it was easier thinking that Victor was dead. Donna doesn't respond, but gives him another drink. And I feel like this has to be really hard for Henry to not only think, but also admit out loud to someone because, like, that it's not wrong. It is not an incorrect statement. I can 100% see where he's coming from, but like that has to be really tough to see in yourself.
Both Henry and Victor are struggling with the thing that they talked about earlier, or that Victor brought up, where Henry is missing that little boy that left so long ago, and he still has that in his head, and he needs to kind of get his head wrapped around that Victor is a grown man with some crazy things that have happened to him, who has been through a lot, but that doesn't mean he's broken. He's clearly not. He is a strong person for being through all of that, and he doesn't he needs your support. He doesn't necessarily need a dad to guide him and stuff like that, but he needs you to be there with him.
Agreed. Yeah. It's a lot to process for both of them, and they don't really have that opportunity to hash it out and like process it because too much is happening.
Yeah, Henry came in at a tough time.
Yeah.
You know who Victor
So
needs for the Jasper situation? He needs Jade. He needs Jade. So they can both yell at this doll
Yeah.
because Jade yelled at it. He yelled at it already. He needs Jade. And it clearly wants to yell at him, so he needs Jade.
Yeah.
Maybe because
That's
he's
true.
seen the symbol. Maybe Jasper will talk to him.
That's true. I was going to say the other thing that he might need is potentially Tabitha, because he doesn't need a dad right now, but he needs a mom.
Yeah. Maybe.
But maybe Sarah will help figure it out with it.
Maybe.
Yeah. So Tabby and the crew, still back at the settlement, they see the red rocks, and she says that it's the same, but not only the area, but also the feeling. She can still remember the fear when she was running in her dreams, and she describes how she ran to the rocks to hide, and whatever was making everyone scream, like back in the settlement, was on the other side of the rocks, and she would look up and then wake up every time. And Jim says, let's say you actually did see this place before we got here, which fuck you, Jim. Uh,
I hated
how
that
does that
wording.
help? So condescending and dismissive. Typical Jim.
Mhm.
Those are like his two main qualities. Uh, and Jade jumps in and says that maybe this was always fate. Tabby was always destined to come here. She never really had a chance. Like, if she was seeing this since childhood, she was always going to see that tree at some point, one way or another. Which, like, oop, that's tough to think about, because what does that
Mhm.
mean for the rest of them?
Mhm.
So
Well,
back at Colin.
and we kind of talked about that when we watched the episode. I brought up, like, remember that Abby was standing in the road and Ellis stopped and he's like, "Hey, Ma, you okay?" You know, and she's like, "Oh, I'm just remembering this dream I had as a kid." Okay.
Yeah.
Mm,
Yeah,
how many people are connected?
I would assume it's all of them in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah, it'll be it's an interesting thought.
Yeah. Hopefully we'll get an answer. Who knows? So back at Colony House, Tilly finds Ellis in the kitchen and she asks him how Fatima's doing. And Ellis says she's good, just taking it one step at a time. And Tilly says that he doesn't need to lie to her. She knows about the cravings and she can listen if he needs it. And Ellis then tells her about the ultrasound and being really afraid to lose Fatima. Tilly tells him that Fatima's still there. And uh, back before she had her diagnosis, she was told to enjoy every moment you have and don't grieve the living while we're still there. He asks her about how she felt when she was told she was sick, and she tells him that she was scared and then angry, but she learned to accept it, and none of us get to stay here forever. She'll be there if they need anything, and Ellis asks her why. She says that she's old, she has cancer, and she likes a good love story. And I
I
think
love
that's enough for
Tilly.
Ellis. He seems happy
Yeah.
with that response. Yeah. She's just sweet, a kind soul.
Mhm.
But then we go see Fatima upstairs. She's lying down, and her IV in her arm like starts to feel weird, and she starts spitting up some water, and then seems like she's in pain. Her abdomen then starts like shrinking in on itself, so like her ribs are sticking out grotesquely. I think at this point I was like, is she the kimono lady? Because like the kimono lady's very almost like
Shriveled.
super dehydrated, shriveled. Yes,
Yeah.
that's a good word for it. Shriveled. I'm like, that's what the lady looks like. Ugh. Is this like some weird like foreshadowing thing? I don't know. But she like starts screaming, and then Ellis comes in to see there's nothing wrong with her. She looks normal. But she's still freaking out. I mean, I would be too. And
Same.
he holds her. Yeah. He holds her and she asks what's happening to her. And then we see Tilly comes in and she sees what's going on, and just Ellis continuing to try to comfort Fatima. Now we go to Randall and Julie. They're in the car. He's still driving, but she asks when it's her turn, and he says a promise is a promise. So presumably she's going to be able to drive soon. But then he starts to see the cicadas again, like on the windshield, and he starts to freak out. Julie apparently can't see them and is asking what's going on. And he's like, "You can't see them? Like those bugs from before." And they're still there. They start to get in the car, and he starts hitting them, like hitting the dashboard. And she's telling him to stop. And finally, he slams on the brakes. We were all screaming to stop driving because
Yeah.
don't crash that, please.
Right.
That's a very necessary vehicle for everybody. Like, let's not crash that, please. But yeah, he slams on the brakes and jumps out of the van. And Julie is so concerned, asking him if he's all right, but he just tells her to go home and he storms off into the woods. So at the clinic, Boyd walks in and sees Ellis arguing with Christy over some antipsychotics. And he says that he needs them for Fatima because she's really struggling and falling apart. But Christy says that those meds are really powerful and could cause more harm than good. Boyd tells Ellis to give the meds back, and he does, but Ellis is mad and storms out. Boyd follows him, and Ellis kind of reveals how scared he is, and he saw what happened with the worms and with his mom, and he doesn't know what to do to help Fatima. He doesn't want to see any of that happen to her. Boyd hugs him, but he doesn't seem to really know what to say to help him. Like, no one really knows how to handle this situation, and Ellis leaves.
Well, and it's very fair. I mean, he's basically looking like, look, things have happened to my parents. Like this, the mind thing happened to my mom, the body thing happened to my dad, and either of one of them could be happening to my wife. Like that's terrifying.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And he just wants to help because he hasn't been able to help in those other situations.
Yeah, that's rough, buddy. So now we're back with Julie and Randall. Julie has followed Randall into the woods, and well, she's tried to follow him. She hasn't quite found him yet, but she then sees a place that we're all familiar with, but she's never seen before, and that's the ruins. And Randall shows up there too. They're both looking at the ruins, and both look a little concerned. And Randall wants to leave immediately and tells Julie that he'll tell her about what happened in the van on the way back. Julie stops though, and she wants to look. She wants to go see what's up at this place and asks if he can feel that. So there's something going on that like we can't see. And he pulls her back and says like, "Nope, we need to go." And she realizes based on his reaction that he does feel something too. And he tells her that it's going to be dark soon. They need to get the van back to Colony House and just get inside before it's dark. So convinces her to head back. Now we see Fatima. She's in the greenhouse looking at the rotten food, kind of like trying to fight the urge to eat it. But she's able to resist and she turns away. But as she does that, she starts to feel like immense pain and starts bending over. Doesn't look like she's doing too well. And then Tilly comes in, tries to comfort her, saying everything's going to be okay. But Fatima screams at her for her to leave. She just wants to be left alone. But Tilly stays and continues to try to calm her, comfort her. Fatima is not having it though, and she grabs some pruning shears and screams that she said to leave her alone and stabs Tilly with them in the chest.
Tilly, we like Tilly.
I
And
liked
she does
her.
immediately regret it. We all liked her. And Fatima liked her. Like, it's clear that she's just not herself. But Fatima immediately regrets it. But sadly, that was not a survivable blow. Like, she stabbed her pretty much in the heart. And Tilly then is on the ground and says, "You have to run," while dying. Ellis comes in at the last moment and sees this happen. Not the stabbing, but like Tilly on the ground with these shears. And he sees it, looks scared, and then that's the end of the episode. Yeah.
The fact that Tilly was like, run. That shows who Tilly is as a person.
Yes.
Absolutely. I got such a bad vibe, like when and not because I was sus of Tilly, but like when she was like, "Hey, anything you need, I'm here. I'm right here for you guys." I'm like, "Oh, she gonna die, and she." This show's not been giving me a lot to be optimistic about.
That is so true. For all that they've said about like, oh, this place has some good in it, I'm like, where's the good? Why haven't
Where's
we
the
seen the good
good?
recently?
Yeah.
Because I don't think we've seen much good lately. It's mainly just been bad. But yeah, that was very heartbreaking because you know that Fatima has been all about trying to save as many lives as possible and beats herself up, even if it's not her fault when someone dies. So like this one actually being something she's responsible for, like this, it's tough. And also like, are they gonna play this off as like, oh, it was an accident, like don't put her in the box, or are they just gonna run? Like, where are they gonna go? I was saying she should just eat the body, hide the evidence,
Eat the
and
bud.
run, but then I was told she probably can't eat bones, so that makes it a little difficult.
Yeah, I mean, a little snack for the road. Yeah, this is not. We gotta be stabbing folk up in this place, you know?
Lots of
Yeah, it
stabbings.
seems like that has to happen every or not episode, but every season. Someone
Every
has to be
season.
stabbed.
Yeah,
Whether it be accidental or not, someone has to be stabbed.
that was yeah. So oh man, that is a cliffhanger to end it on right there. Of like,
Yeah.
what now? Because nobody but Ellis knows that this has happened at this point.
Yeah. Well, and it's like you could stage it to make it look like the monsters got her, but like
But
Yeah.
somebody's gonna find her during the day. I think it's still early in the day, right?
So put her in the woods. Put her somewhere. You just gotta hope that no one finds her until the next day.
What's that movie? Just like carry her out between you. It's like that movie from the '80s. You guys are not gonna get this reference. Oh my god. Weekend at Bernie's. Just Weekend at Bernie's her.
Yeah, easy. Put some sunglasses on, put a new shirt on, cover the blood, it's fine.
No, man. Yeah, so we haven't gotten many answers. So you guys had asked for some answers last time. We did not get them. We saw the effigies.
It's not good enough for me.
We did
Nope,
not
I
get
need to
it.
see something else with those effigies.
We saw more with the Polaroid, which untrustworthy Polaroid camera.
Scared for Ellis. Or not well, yes, Ellis, but Elgin.
Yeah, I'm scared for anybody whose name starts with L.
Yes.
So we've got Fatima on the run. And Demon Baby. We've got Julie now with this weird figure, seeing that there's a weird connection to the ruins. I'm sure that's not going to be let go.
Well, and they'd never been there before besides, like, in the actual cellar, whatever you wanna call it, dungeon thing in their minds, so it's like we couldn't tell if they knew where they were or if it was just a bad feeling about the place, but they need to talk to Boyd. Boyd should tell
Yeah,
them about what happened.
yeah. And then we've still got Jasper. We're still figuring that one out.
It's
Victor
just
and
a
his
doll, nothing's wrong with it, it's totally normal.
Victor and his special set of skills. We're gonna get that doll to talk. Uh,
I believe him.
yeah. And then we've got I mean we still got numbers to figure out, Jay. Do not get distracted by Tabitha's stuff. You've got numbers to figure out, sir. And then we've got Tabitha's crazy dream that she just remembered, and her having memories of this place from before this place.
Yeah.
Whew, we got a few things. I'm sure I'm not listing all the things that we need to know at this point. I think my list was longer last time.
But that was a pretty good list, though. I'm trying to think if there's anything else, and it's not coming to mind. Except for, like, who's Clara? What's up with her? She's still sus.
Yeah. Well,
Mhm.
and Elgin, like, what's going on with you, baby boy? What's going on with you, Elgin? Doesn't
Yeah,
seem good.
what was that conversation that we didn't get to see? Because I need
Yeah.
to know what you mean.
Who you been talking
Mhm.
to? What they been telling you? Because it doesn't seem good.
Dressed.
So what, if anything, what is the thing you want answered most?
There's too many things.
Yeah, there's too many things.
What? All the answers right now.
All the
Have you met me?
answers.
Yeah, I want to know everything right now.
Okay, well, we will see what the next episode brings then, because maybe it'll have an answer, maybe it'll have more mysteries. Who knows with From?
God, I bet it's going to be more mysteries.
Possible. Is
And then I'm just going to
possible.
get annoyed. There's too much I don't know. I need to know at least something.
We need to have the chart with the strings and stuff. We need a Jade like moment.
Yeah.
But I think we are ready to watch the next episode. So thank you everyone for listening to Ope, I Found a Weird Show, and we can't wait to continue the recap next time. Bye.